Hello there. I'm Windermere Real Estate's Chief Economist, Matthew Gardner, and welcome to this week's episode of Mondays with Matthew. And last week, there were data releases on existing home sales, new home sales, and mortgages, all really interesting subjects. So let's dive right into the numbers. First up, existing home sales for August, which blew all forecasts out of the water, with a significant 2.4% jump in sales month over month, and the annual rate of sales breaking above 6 million units. And that's really impressive. And if you're wondering why it's so impressive, well, you see, the last time we hit 6 million, well, that was all the way back in December of 2006. Total sales were up by a staggering 10.5% from a year ago. And that number is even more amazing because of this. You see, sales rose even as the number of homes for sale continued to shrink. On an unadjusted basis, there were just 1.49 million homes for sale in August, and that's down 0.7% month over month, and down 18.6% from a year ago. But if you think that's bad, well, I like to run a seasonal adjustment model on the data. And when I did, the number of homes for sale in August dropped to just 1.41 million units. Now, that's the lowest level of inventory I could find on record. And my numbers go back to 1999. But of course, the inventory number is just a snapshot in time, as it can exclude new listings coming on during the course of the month. Now, because of this, I poured through the data, and I found that 69% of homes that sold in August were on the market for less than 1 month, with properties typically selling in an average of just 22 days versus 31 days in August of 2019. So even though inventory levels are very low, there are still homes coming to market, but they don't show up in the figures as they're simply selling too quickly. And the homes that remained on the market in August, that tells me there's just 3 months of supply at the current sales pace. And this is down from 3.1 months in July and 4 months in August of 2019. And as many of you will certainly know, this is well below the 6 months of supply that's typically associated with a balanced housing market. I will also add that first-time buyers are still responsible for 1/3 of all sales. Now that's down from 34% in July, but I believe it would actually be significantly higher if one thing were different, and that's home prices. And when we look at sale prices, well, the very modest pandemic-induced price drop you can see happening between April and May, it very quickly turned around, with the median sale price in August coming in at $310,600. But this chart, it shows the seasonally adjusted number. That still came in at $300,500. And when we look at the annual percentage change in sale prices, which of course is the same for both seasonally adjusted as well as nominal prices, well, it's up by a whopping 11.4%. So what's going on? Well, clearly there is belief in the housing market, with the report showing very robust demand for existing homes, and this demand is limiting supply, which is therefore pushing prices higher. But there's more. Mortgage rate data, which I look at weekly, shows rates remaining very competitive, and this is, to an extent, allowing home prices to continue to rise at above average rates. However, I just don't see there's much room for them to drop any further. But before you get worried about me saying that, although I don't believe it's likely to see rates move significantly lower, I also don't see rates rising significantly either. And any upward pressure on rates won't happen this year. And quite frankly, I'm not expecting to see much of a move higher in 2021 either. And demand for housing is also supported by last week's mortgage application numbers, which rose by 3.4% on the week and are now 25.1% higher than a year ago. But I'm showing you this for another reason, and it's that the purchase index is now at a level we haven't seen since October of 2008. So it's clear that the existing home sales are on fire. solid demand supported by very low borrowing costs. That's pretty impressive. And regular viewers of my videos will know that I have been attributing some of the buoyancy in the resale market to a lack of new construction. And as luck would have it, we got the August numbers on new home sales last week too. So let's take a look at those. Wow, another wow moment. New home sales in August did something they haven't done since November of 2006. And that's exceeding an annual rate of 1 million units. More precisely, they rose 4.8% month over month to 1.011 million sales, and they were up by 43.2% year over year. Now, this number totally blew through everyone's forecasts, including my own, as I was expecting the number to come in at around 890,000. But if I do have a concern, it's supply, which turned lower with only 282,000 units for sale at the end of August. And only 51,000 of those are actually completed and ready to move into. Some of you may remember my video from last week when I told you about the massive increase in lumber prices, and that's builders are having to cope with. And these numbers may be an indicator that increased costs are starting to impact supply. But that said, we did see single-family starts rise to their highest level since February of this year, so the data is still a little opaque. New home sale prices are interesting, but not for the reasons you might expect. You see, builders can change the type of homes they build to meet demand and also hit a price point. And that can show up as prices actually dropping, which isn't entirely accurate. You see, the data showed a big jump in sales of homes priced between $200,000 and $300,000, and an almost equally large drop in sales of homes priced between $300,000 and $400,000. And this can obviously impact the pace of price increases. And this theory is also supported when we look at sales by region, with solid demand at more affordable price points. As you can see here, sales were up massively month over month down in the south, which is not only the largest home building region by volume, but also has the lowest average home prices. So there you have it, my thoughts on last week's data releases. In all, the reports were very solid and really do show housing as being a shining light in an economy which is still mired by the COVID-19 pandemic. And looking ahead, Tuesday, we will get the Case-Shiller data for July and also the September consumer confidence numbers. Pending home sales data for August, well, that's released on Wednesday, but all eyes will be on Friday's jobs report. And that's going to tell us what's going on in the labour market in the month of September. Again, all interesting releases, so I hope you'll join me again next Monday when I'll give you my take on all of the numbers. As always, if you've got any questions about this week's data, or if you've got a topic you'd like me to take a look at, I'd love to hear from you. But in the meantime, take care out there, and I look forward to seeing you all again next week. Bye now.